Good evening. Welcome to The Platform, a brand new show where we give people a chance to rise to the top. I'm Michael Kazilny. An amazing lineup of guests coming up tonight. Superstar from Hollywood, Nikki Whelan will be joining us on the couch tonight. So will Warwick Capper. And we've got Melbourne social queen, Rosanna Faraci. Also, Venus Virgin Tomas will be joining us. And to take us out, a great Aussie band, Rusty Brown from Electric Mary. Welcome aboard. Let's go and have a look at Nikki Whelan and her success in Hollywood.
I guess I still have a lot to get out of my system before I do the whole marriage trip, you know? I'm one of those people who wants to try everything once before I die.
And the good things twice. Like swim with the dolphins.
Yeah, I'd love to meet the Dalai Lama.
Sure. Bungee jump.
Oh, I've already done that.
Skydiving.
Skinny dip in the Indian Ocean.
Sleep with a married guy.
Hey, wait! Are you going to the rebirth?
Over the next 2 days, you're about to experience actual person-to-person contact. Rebirth is not for everyone. Some of you will find this highly disturbing.
What's going on?
Dino's is now under new ownership.
Jean-Luc.
Jean-Luc? Who's Jean-Luc?
Honey, you know when I said I was traveling through Paris? Well, to make extra money, I used to let artists paint me nude.
Is she yours? She's really cute. I'm Angela Morgan.
Katie Wells.
Who's that?
That's Katie, my play date.
Let's all raise a glass.
I just feel like I'm part of the family now.
My mom?
Said Katie gives her the willies.
Your mother doesn't like anyone. Why don't you just move to our guest house? You could also be our part-time nanny.
Angela and Brian are gonna try for another kid. They're gonna use a surrogate.
Wait, they're gonna ask me?
No, me. What are you doing?
They're my babies.
Nikki, that's amazing. You've enjoyed spectacular success over the last few years. What's been happening?
I'd forgotten about some of those. Nothing, just been doing that stuff that we just had a look at. But some of that was quite a while ago.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
2003 it all started with pizza, and then we saw your neighbours.
See, you just said Fat Pizza. I completely forgot about that too. I've got a memory like a goldfish. I remember that. It was all the first jobs I ever did here in Melbourne. Mm-hmm.
You've been on our screens for so many years, and I think you even worked with Coxie years ago, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Coxie's Be Great. I think I did that for like 3 years. That was one of the best jobs I ever had, because I would not have gone and done half the things they made me do ever in my life. So it was one of my greatest gigs. I loved that so much.
Where did the passion come from?
I have no idea. All I remember is when I was about 4 years old, my mum would say that I used to try and pretend I was American. I don't know where this all came from. Might have been the TV. But I was obsessed with America, and I was actually more obsessed than anything with dancing. I wanted to be a dancer when I was growing up, so I danced full time for years and years, and after school, and it was sort of where most of my stuff came from. And then I started to get into like a little bit of modelling, as much as a 5'4" girl can do. And then it all sort of went on from there, and I got asked to do the horse racing for Moonee Valley when I was 17, just as I'd finished school. I had no idea what I was doing. I got put into some of the weirdest positions, and I just sort of winged it.
I remember that. And you also spent some time in in Shepparton in Victoria.
I did a bunch of their commercials. I did one of their commercials about 2 years ago as well. I still have a great relationship.
I love you there.
You
were the face of Shepparton.
Yeah, it was a great gig. All those gigs were some of my favourite things. All the adventures going out there. I'm still friends with Sutho, who I've worked with for years and years. Like I said, we just did another commercial a couple of years ago. I like to keep the relationships going, especially being able, because it gives me an excuse to come back to Australia.
Great to have you back.
It's so good to be back.
Nikki, Pepper in Neighbours. What happened to what did they do to finish that role?
I was meant to be on the show for 3 years, but I'd got some opportunities in Los Angeles. And Neighbours were awesome. Like, I mean, they took me on. I'd never acted before, and they took me on, and they let me go. They let my character go early so that I could go and pursue some stuff, some opportunities that had come up for me in Hollywood. And
so many amazing movies.
But I loved Neighbours. Neighbours was a really great place for me. I really enjoyed it, and you learn so quickly, and all that cast are still friends of mine to this day, and half of us are all living in LA now, which is really cool.
Amazing. When we look at the great lady, you've got this unshakable self-confidence. Do you ever get shy?
Really? Am I that convincing?
Yes.
I don't get shy for the It's funny, on set I don't get shy. I don't get shy sort of talking to crowds of people. This sort of stuff I'm okay with, but auditioning I'm absolutely useless in auditions. I can't stand them. If I can self-tape or get an offer, I will do anything.
Well, the world certainly loves you because you've appeared in so many movies and you just pop up and there she is again.
It's weird. I've had such a roller coaster of a journey in Los Angeles. There's no consistency over there. Some people land and make it overnight, and then other people are there for 10 years and can't get arrested. Especially actors that do so well here can show up there and just cannot get a job. There's no rhyme or reason behind it. The only thing I can say, being in LA for the last 11 years, is you can't have a plan B. If you've got a plan B, you always got a safety net under you, and I've never really had a plan B. I've always known what I wanted to do, and I've always had that as a vision, and I think just having that underlying has just kept me going. I've never given coming home as an option and giving up as an option. I don't have anything else.
You just sold you on. Nicolas Cage, Inconceivable. When can we watch that movie? When's that coming out?
That came out already.
Already?
Yeah, that's come out already. That was I think it came out the start of this year. So yeah, that was cool.
Fantastic.
That was really fun. It's the third movie I've done with Nick now. We did a movie a couple of years ago called Left Behind, and we developed a really great friendship, and we did another film together. I only did a little bit in it called Dog Eat Dog with him, Willem Dafoe and Paul Schroeder as the director. It was fantastic. Just nice to get to sort of do a second with those guys. And then Inconceivable came around, and he actually sent me the script, and he said, I think you'd be great for this role. And I read the script and I'm like, which role? He goes, the Psycho. And I was like, thanks, all right. I had no faith in myself that I would be able to do that role, but he obviously was like, he said to Lionsgate, that's our girl. So it's very nice. You develop some great relationships. I mean, that's a lot of what it's about, working in LA, is you meet people, you work with people, and I always feel like every audition I've ever done has always meant something else. Every job I've always done leads to something else. There's no consistency over there. For me personally anyway, everyone has a different journey. I've been able to work really well there and work a lot, but it's never been some major overnight success.
Of course.
You sort of go in and out of it, and I think it's just the resilience of staying in the game, keeping a really clear head.
You're very switched on, Nikki. So you certainly don't get lonely. There's plenty of Aussie stars. Who do you hang out with at the local shops? Which Aussie actors? Have you got your favourite crew there? Russell Crowe, is he causing trouble?
No, I don't see Russell Crowe. I think he spends more time in Sydney, doesn't he? I have no idea. You know, I do run into a lot of the Neighbours crew that I did work with a lot, and I adore all of them. They all took me on the show with no acting experience. Actually, Jane Harbour, who's a great actress here, in a bunch of TV shows here, she's making her way over to LA a lot more now, so I spend a lot of time with her. I do have a lot of American friends, a lot of English friends over there, so, and all my Aussie mates, like whenever it's time for them to have their holidays, they come spend it with me, so.
Isn't that gorgeous? Nikki, what were your favourite movies over the last few years?
I've got to be honest with you, working on comedies is always more fun. The dramas can be a little intense and a little dark. For some reason, the last couple of years, all I seem to have done is drawn in really dark movies. But when I first moved to LA, I did a lot of comedies like Hall Pass, which is quite some time ago.
I've seen that 5 times. I love that.
There you go. I haven't seen it that many times, but I've seen it.
It's funny.
It was like that set to be on was so much fun. The Wedding Ringer, Josh Gad and Kevin Hart and those guys. Doing Scrubs, I did that years and years ago. I'm trying to think of other stuff. I did a pilot with NBC. It was a comedy. It was just a couple sitcoms. They're the greatest ones to work on. You're laughing all day on set, and I know it's such great energy. Dark movies is a whole different vibe, so I've got to say it's mainly the comedies that are my favourite.
Yeah, well, that's certainly, we all certainly love comedy. We love to see you in it. And what are the plans for The Great Lady over 2018?
I have no idea.
Wow.
That is the best part about my life. And the worst part. You know, I just wrapped a movie. I did a beautiful movie with the Hallmark Network, which I just wrapped and just came out. The turnaround was really quick. We shot it in November and it just came out yesterday actually in Los Angeles. And that was the last job I was going to do for the year. I wanted to come home. I just finished a campaign in Australia with Crown Bet here, which keeps bringing me back for opportunities. Working for them has been one of the best gigs, and it was great to come back to Australia. So I'm going to keep continuing working with those guys. I'm going to go to Magic Millions with them in the new year.
Fantastic.
Which I've never been to. And then it's back to pilot season. It's really, we have no idea. Some actors do. Some actors are in a great position where they just have the next 5 years set out. Not the case for me, but I'm hopeful, you know. There's always, you just got to go back in. I feel like when I come back to Australia over Christmas, it recharges me. I'm around some really, really good support in my family. I get my strength back.
Great to have you here, Nikki, and you can spend some time with your good friend Rosie. And
Rosie's the one.
She's a terrific lady. And Togsy found some footage from Neighbours, which we might have a quick look at.
Okay.
Stirred, not shaken. You, on the other hand, look a little of both. Why don't you come in? Oh dear, let's get you out of those wet clothes, eh?
Did I pay for lunch? I don't think the train was supposed to be in that. Someone added the train in. Can I just tell you something really funny about that scene? I grew up watching Neighbours. I grew up watching Paul Robinson. Cut to I'm making out with him like 15 years later. That is weird for an actor. That's weird. I remember watching him when I was like 10 years old, and then cut to 25 years old and I'm making out with him. Something weird about that.
Nikki, thank you so much, darling, for coming on.
Thank you.
Shake hands like the old days. Actually, one last question. What's the? You've been to the Logies and you've been to the Oscars. What's the difference? Do you find is it a lot more exciting over there?
I've only been to the Logies once. They're both awesome. You know, they have it at the Crown. It's so beautiful. Crown is one of my favourite venues in Melbourne. It is so elaborate and beautiful. It's actually a more solid, more beautiful venue than where they hold it in Los Angeles. But the awards in Los Angeles, I think, have a little bit more excitement for me, only because at any given moment, the most famous person in the entire world can walk past you and you're like, and it's very overwhelming. It's my world that I live in and all these people I look up to and love. So it's such a buzz, but both have a great energy and a vibe about them. I'd like to go back to the Logies, by the way. I've only been once. Maybe I'll get invited again.
We'll have a great break and you're a champion. Thanks for coming on and thank you very much for watching. We've got funny man Warwick Capper coming up very shortly with Warwick's World. Don't go away.